My name is Chris Hurd. I'm a photographer. I've been doing photography for about 40 years. My experience in photography has been pretty varied, really. Photojournalist, commercial photographer, and for the past, 25, 30 years, really concentrated on fine art photography. I live in Ellensburg, and there's a wonderful city park in Ellensburg that runs right along the Yakima River there. And I have a little crazy dog, and so the dog and I would go walking every day, this path down by the river. I would take my camera and just photograph as we walk. And I found just what I think are really beautiful pictures, just right there, just kind of opening myself up to being where I am at the moment and really seeing where I am at the moment. That's kind of what my work is about, more or less. Don't get me wrong, I love grand landscapes, Grand Canyon, you name it. And I'm drawn to these kind of desolate landscapes, deserts and mountainous scenes, and there's quite a bit of that in the show here at Kent. But also in the show is just some pictures that I shot while I was walking the dog down by the Yakima River. One of the photographs out here in the show here at Kent, I made actually a number of years ago, and I never did anything with it until I moved out here and, like I say, started going through my stuff. But I visited this place in the Mojave Desert near where I lived in California. I lived in Riverside, California at the time, a place called Trona Pinnacles. Basically what it is, this area, and I don't know how many millions of years ago, but it was millions of years ago, that area of the United States and California was under a vast sea. From the seafloor, these springs would kind of come up and deposit minerals. And so you have these spires, they're called tufa spires. I am standing on the bed of what was once, this ancient sea and hundreds of feet deep. And here I stand and I'm looking at this thing that was born over a number of years underneath this sea. And to me, that's just amazing, That's a story that I can't even comprehend it, really. But it's things like that. So photography, like I say, it kind of lets me explore, but it also kind of sends my mind off, in all kinds of other directions. My process is, I shoot the film, I process the film. Then, as I said, I do have a digital camera. I've got a nice little kind of mirrorless, full-frame sensor thing, really fat pixel count and all that kind of good stuff. And the only thing I do with it is I photograph my black and white negatives. I found an old slide copier that I just modified to fit onto my digital camera. So I just put my 35mm negs into the slide copier unit and just photograph it, with my camera. Boom! So I've got a 36 meg digital file from my black and white negative. In today's photography world is about hyper sharpness, and everybody's stressing about the acuity of their images and what their lens is capable of resolving. And in the end, I just kind of said, I'm not going to worry about that. I've experimented with a lot of different fine art papers. With digital printing, there's a lot of different papers made for photographic printing. And so what I've tried to do is make prints that look kind of qualitatively similar to the old fiber-based darkroom prints that I used to make. I'm using, it's a fine art paper that's been around for a long time that printmakers used to use and still do. It's a very, very thick, heavy, 100% cotton rag fine art paper, archival to the max. And I'm even going kind of for that old school printmaking effect, because the paper I'm using actually does have the deckled edges like you used to see with old etchings and mezzotint prints and things like that. So I'm trying to kind of go for that kind of printmaking, and by printmaking I mean old school printmaking, not even photo printmaking, you know, like I say, etching, mezzotint, ink on paper through a press, that kind of stuff. There's one other artist. She's showing mainly animal portraits, wildlife portraits. And I think also done black and white, maybe with some color touches here and there. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting combination. I'm on one wall, she's on the other wall, and you've got this kind of crosstalk of the animals and the nature, the land, you know. And it's just, I think it's a great idea.
Sonya Lang's inspiration for animal images is about quiet moments, intimate connections between animal and viewer, and a feeling of being let into their world for just a moment. Using digital processing techniques, Sonya brings out the natural textures in their coats, feathers, and skin. Sonya wants the world to see the animals as she does, their unique beauty, and their special place in the world. To see more of Sonya's work, visit sonya-lang.pixels.com.
The exhibit is free and runs from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Centennial Center Gallery is located at 400 West Gow Street, next to Kent City Hall. Sponsored by Kent Arts Commission.